It's Friday in the 1990s, and you walk into your local video game store with $60 in your pocket and an empty weekend ahead of you. The rows of games all tease exciting experiences that will enthrall you. Kill dragons, go on epic adventures, rescue beautiful maidens. You buy the game of your choice, hop in your mom's car and read the manual in the dim light of the passing street lamps, and when you get home, you're ready to kick some ass. But wait, first you have to complete the tutorial.
It's time to stop!
The game may say it looks like this, but first you have to speed around an empty garage. Hey, ready to battle some robots as Mega Man? Wait, first you have to complete a series of text-based questions, and it's 8:30 and all you wanted to do was play a great game and bedtime's coming soon and you're not able. Tutorials in games are an odd thing. To the novice gamer, they're a requirement, but to the veteran gamer, they can be a tedious distraction. At worst, they can confuse and disorient the player, and at best, they're simply a distraction on the path towards the promises made in the game's trailers and ads. Like, check it out, here's a trailer for Zelda Twilight Princess. Oh my god. Oh my god! Oh my god! Then you start to play the game, and this is what you have to do. Fuck these goats, I wanna fight monsters! Shigeru Miyamoto, you tricked me!
技術者が作ったんですね。プログラマーとかハードウェア技術者が作るっていう。で、それを僕らはデザイナーっていうか、僕は工業デザイナーだったんですけども、そしてアーティストとか言われる。
Now, back before the internet was a thing, you had one of two things happen when you bought a game. Either the game did absolutely nothing to show you how to play it and you had to figure everything out through exhaustive trial and error, or the game held your hand to such a ludicrous extent that you had to sift through endless dialogue and exposition to actually get to the fun part. While there are some notable exceptions that had fine tutorials, in 1998 Nintendo absolutely perfected the tutorial level with the Kokiri Forest in Ocarina of Time. The Nintendo 64 was the first jump into true polygonal 3D for many gamers. While the PlayStation 1 had offered 3D games a couple years before, many of those games were insanely clunky. I know you probably have fond memories of Spyro and Crash, but if you go back to play those and then you play Mario 64 or Zelda Ocarina of Time, you'll be amazed at the difference. Zelda Ocarina of Time promises a lot of adventure, but before you run through volcanoes and fly with chickens and fight huge monsters, Nintendo realized that gamers have to understand how to navigate this new world. They understood that the tutorial level had to teach gamers everything they needed to know about navigating this beautiful world while not constraining them in any way. And holy shit, you guys, they did it so well. Let's deconstruct Kokiri Forest and how Nintendo guides new players here. By looking at the design decisions the developers made, you can begin to appreciate the sheer genius at play. Even before you can control Link, Nintendo has already made some amazing decisions here. See, in the opening, we're introduced to Link as the forest boy who is getting a fairy. Nintendo expertly puts us in a first-person view of Navi the fairy, who gives us a panoramic view of this environment we are going to be allowed to navigate. It's an overview that allows a new player to orient themselves with this new environment, but it's quick, and while the player is told to go to the Great Deku Tree, they aren't forced along that path. There's no long-winded explanations about all the intricacies of the world. I'm looking at you, Fee! I know what a green rupee's worth, I've been collecting them since the 80s. Then, as soon as you're given control of Link, Nintendo makes a decision that I fucking love. You see, when we first play the game, the camera is static at the top of his room, and the environment he is in seems like it's a 2D mat. Many games use this technique to great effect, where a 2D backdrop was laid behind 3D characters to give the illusion of true 3D. At the time, fully rendered 3D backgrounds were a horrible pain in the ass to make, so many players were familiar with this 2.5D setup. By positioning the camera here, the player does not have to navigate a fully 3D environment. Instead, they have to navigate Link solely on an X and Y axis, which many gamers at the time were familiar with. This was also a cool trick, because Nintendo promised a fully fledged 3D adventure, and this first scene doesn't really look truly 3D. Then you step outside. Oh my god, look at this environment. There's fairies everywhere. It's so whimsical and beautiful. Graphics will never be better than this. Only when the player exits Link's treehouse are they actually put in full control in a 3D environment. Because this is the first time many players moved in true 3D, aside from games like Super Mario 64 or Spyro or Crash, Nintendo again makes another series of fantastic decisions. See, Link's treehouse is high up, giving the player a better vantage point of the environment, and the camera swings around gently to show off the area. From there, the player is told to visit the Great Deku Tree, and without telling you anything, you can instantly figure out where to go. Not only did Navi's first-person perspective show you how to get there, but you have a giant map in the bottom right where you can pretty easily see two large sections of the map, with one leading to a big stump-looking thing. It's so simplistic and gives the player full ability to find their way without forcing you to go in a direction. You can go straight to the Great Deku Tree, or you can explore this environment at your leisure. Now here's the best part. You meet Mido, and he tells you to get a sword and a shield, and then nothing. The game doesn't tell you where to go or what to do, and instead gives you this giant playground to explore, and every aspect of this environment is built around the player experiencing mechanics that they will learn, rather than being force-fed details on how to play the game. Do you see that big bridge? It looks cool to walk on and provides a challenge for navigation because you could fall off. So you walk on it and it leads you to the middle of the area where a girl tells you how to look in first person. And by doing that, you can see the whole environment from where you're perched. Or what about how you can easily see the shield you need to get, but you have to buy it with rupees, and rupees are scattered all over the environment, so you are forced to explore. Or you got this guy trying to pick up rocks, so you try to see if you can pick up rocks, and you throw it, and then you get rupees. It's a little reward for your curiosity. If this was in Skyward Sword, there would be a monologue about how you press A to get rocks and how there's rupees in them. Hold up, wait. So I'm editing the video right now, and when I wrote that Skyward Sword comparison in my script, I was just making that up. But it turns out there's like a 5-minute quest in Skyward Sword to learn how to pick up barrels. You talk to this guy, he monologues about how to pick it up, you walk into another room, this old lady yells at you and says that the other guy should have done it. You go back to the guy and he thanks you for his time. And we can actually see this guy just struggling with the barrel himself. That's all we needed. What the fuck? Or what about how you're using the analog stick to navigate this area with some signs that show you basic details, and then that leads you to the hole that allows you to get the sword, and then when you have the sword, you can come back and destroy those signs with it. Then you cross a bridge. It's a threshold from the forest to the open world, which represents the threshold Link must pass to chase his destiny. Oh, and then we can't forget about how the childlike innocence of Link's adventures gives way to the foreboding seriousness of his adult challenges, which represents the change in our life. Thank you, we get it. It's a good game.
Well done, well done, well done. Come here. Yeah. Come on. Hey. Hey. Well done.
Yeah, you're fucking up, you're cutting corners, and you're slipping big time.
The point is, a lot can be said for this entire game, but I've never seen anyone focus just on this brilliant opening area. I just wanted to break down some of the genius things Nintendo did here, especially considering the aptitude of many gamers for 3D environments at the time. So what do you all think? What are some of your first memories you have when you entered Kokiri Forest and started the tutorial in this fantastic game? What are some other games that have great tutorials that show rather than tell and give you, the player, the freedom to experience what the game is trying to teach you? Let me know in the comments, and I hope everyone has a great start to 2023. I'm looking forward to making some great new videos for you all on a probably monthly basis, so stay tuned and I'll have more for you soon. Thanks guys, bye.